AskReddit by El Polo Payaso. What was ruined by rich people? The retro games market. I'm not paying $200 for Pokemon Emerald. Artsy neighborhoods and student ghettos. There's an area in my city called the University District. I live with my partner and my brother. We're all university students, and the three of us together can't afford to live in that area. Lobster, them cockroaches of the sea. Another one is oxtail, and it's only recently become in demand. It used to be poor people's food, the part of the cow no one wanted to eat. I'm in my 40s and remember as a kid, for big family dinners, there was always a huge pot of oxtail stew full of meat cause it was so dirt cheap. Pile your plate high and get seconds. Then it was discovered how similar it is to ossobuco, but at a stupid cheap price. Supply and demand drove the price way up. Tried to look up historical prices, was able to find that only 5 years ago it was $9 lb. Now it's around $15 lb. My big sis says she remembers buying it as a teen, and it was my $2 lb. So, it went from a huge pot of stew, to side meat dish to go with chicken, and you can get maybe 2 pieces of oxtail, to, oh oxtail? You must be rich lol, and now it's gone to substituting with turkey necks, which is now dubbed poor people's oxtail. The irony, right? But it's not the same at all. It's pretty terrible actually. Equals Burning Man. It's the best weekend of the year in the Bay Area though. The assholes are all gone. The housing market. Yep, I was outbid multiple times by the same people just gobbling up land and houses. I even was willing to pay asking price but would be outbid 30-50k every time by the same 3 fucking people. They fortunately got their comeuppance during COVID and one went completely bankrupt. I unfortunately had to have someone in my extended family die to get an inside track to their house. Pickup trucks. They used to be considerably cheaper and driven only by farmers. I am a driver for a car dealership. I move vehicles between dealers, pick used ones up at auctions, and the like. These trucks are nice, but I just can't figure out how people afford them. Many of them are 70, 80, 90, 100k. Even used Tacomas are 40-50k if you're lucky. Just insane to me. I drive a 2000 model Toyota Tundra that just flipped 200k miles. The middle class. Most clever remark I found so far. Middle class will be slowly destroyed in the coming years. Dual income households will mean nothing. We will have to get second and third jobs, just to make ends meet. THIRFT stores. This makes me so sad. I grew up real poor and going to the thrift stores for clothes was one of my favorite things. It was always so exciting finding cool, new to me things we could actually afford. The challenge of climbing Everest. If it wasn't for the Sherpas I'd be like, you got this. Car prices. Only rich people and dummies are willing to pay 20k over MSRP for a Ford Bronco, let alone higher end stuff. Car production is no longer hindered by COVID. There is no low inventory. Quit being idiots. I had to buy a car today because my teenager drove over a mini boulder in my car yesterday. Deal with that sentence. It was a fully paid off car. Housing. Healthcare. Retirement. The housing market. Yep, even fucking tiny houses and mobile homes. Ridiculous. What haven't they ruined is a better question. Seriously. Throughout my life the divide has become more apparent. Maybe it's just my perception. But it simply seems every facet of my life has been computer calculated to see exactly how much I'll pay for anything. Bars, games, equipment for my hobbies, DIY or amateur gear, thrifting. Everything. Government handouts. Edit. Thanks for the award. To be fair, deals in general. The richest people I've known have also been some of the stingiest bastards I've met. They'll clip coupons, call customer service to dispute the smallest transaction. I mean, I get it, but the people I've known have been loaded and still gripe about paying full price for anything. They have time to spend on hold waiting to talk with a credit card company, and they seem to have time to find all the deals, coupons, happy hours, or whatever, and yet, none of them need to do that stuff. They could afford to shop for a great item but haggle over $50 on something like a car purchase. It's wild, but they can afford to be picky. They can afford to drive around all day to find the best deals, and they have time to argue over price matching, etc. Rich people love a good deal, especially if it means they got the last one and you can't get it. Plenty of stuff, but concerts and music festivals. I went to concerts, and big ones, with my own money in high school and college. It wasn't cheap, but it was something kids could save up for, and people just went. Food and drinks were just basic event fare. Now I'm straight up not sure how people who aren't well off go to concerts. And responses saying aha, Ticketmaster are not as clever as they think. Ticketmaster has existed since long before I was born and always been scummy, but it wasn't like it is now. It's got to be an influencer VIP event and it's lame. And yeah, you can find great concerts for 3 pennies and a button if you want to see Shmo McGee and the Hottie Watts. It's playing experimental thrash polka on the theremin in a grimy bar with 4 chairs in it. Yes, I know, I still go to those concerts sometimes. But most people go to concerts to see artists they care about, not to just be at a concert, any concert. There used to be $40 tickets to popular concerts. Yes. And now with dynamic pricing, even the low-end tickets end up being hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Cheap cuts of meat, like wings, brisket, oxtail, etc. From the less desired cuts, to every rich dad's $3,000 smoker. I'd say go vegetarian, but they'd probably ruin that too, just like what happened with quinoa. The graveyard of the Titanic. Also the Titanic itself, really. Earth. In the beginning the universe was created. This has made a lot of people very angry and been widely regarded as a bad move. Douglas Adams. Views. They bribe, steal and buy property all over the world that sits on the best views on the planet. It pisses me off that there are some things I'll never get to see because some jackass bribed a zoning guy so he could build his 8th house on yet another cliff. Dude, they're even stealing views from other rich people. My aunt and uncle are filthy rich. Like, they bought a mansion at the beach to tear it down and build a more or less identical mansion. They paid for a group of designers to tour hostels of France looking for specific wallpaper that they loved when they were backpacking in the 80s. And they'll complain loudly about the rich asshole down the block from them who built a 4-story house that blocks everyone's sunset views because they had an agreement to not build over 3 stories so they could all enjoy the views from their multi-million-dollar roof decks. Our society and system of government. Thrift stores and second-hand shopping. It's even worse now that people buy just to flip it and make money. I keep seeing answers like this and I think some people here have a real skewed view of what rich is. Billionaires ain't going to thrift stores and buying shit. You have far more in common with those comfortable middle class people than the actual rich who are busy destroying the earth and every part of society that doesn't increase their billions. Being rich. And X200B. The wealthy used to build public works. They used to throw their money around. Fund exploration. Fund the arts. The only thing rich people do these days is hover up more resources so the make-believe number in the bank that they've attached to their sense of self keeps going up. For fucking real. Remember when rich people used to sponsor artists and pay them to paint stuff, or to play and compose music, or anything like that? Now we just have unimaginable piles of imaginary money numbers going up and rich tech assholes so void of humanity that they are trying to outsource art to machines, as this same rich overclass destroys the planet we live on and sucks the life out of everything. I'm so sick of it. Well, I mean, gestures at everything. Really though, I'm here like, what haven't they ruined? Democracy. Cheap Asian food. Stuff like pho and Hong Kong BBQ used to be super casual. You go in there and get a nice cheap meal for like $5. Then all these bougie foodies came along, so now I have to buy 3 times the price for the atmosphere. You can absolutely still find super cheap authentic Asian eats in the right areas with heavier Asian populations. It's always the hole in the wall place with a B rating and no English translation on the menu. Rich people won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Housing prices. Camping. Right? I just want to have a quiet time in the woods with my son, and there's always someone with a 30-foot RV that costs more than my house and a generator that sounds like a 747. Thrift shops. I literally can't afford them anymore because it's just so trendy. Why buy more expensive, used, worn out clothes that should have been thrown away when I can go to Target or Walmart for the same exact pair of jeans for cheaper? I went to one and found a Target shirt with the tag still on it. The thrift store price was more than the Target tag price. I pointed it out to the cashier and she yanked it out of my hand and threw it under the counter. It was ridiculous. The Florida Keys was laid back, easy going, now just like the rest. Florida in general. Society. From the food system to climate change to healthcare and housing, they've ruined everything.